Big congratulations to my hometown, Bozeman, Montana's own freshman U.S. Senator Tim Sheehy for earning the sort of deranged hate mail that you hang on to as a lifelong keepsake if you don't send it to the FBI as a credible threat. Or maybe both. Dangerous and funny aren't mutually exclusive after all, and both descriptors certainly apply to this woman. But Tim Sheehy, as of January, is Montana's junior Republican senator, ousting three-term Democrat incumbent Jon Tester last November. Tester has long made his club hand a signature campaign feature. Oh, look, he's just a farm guy like the rest of this rural agricultural state.
I was 9 years old when I lost my fingers in this meat grinder.
But it didn't work because he spent 2 decades loyally serving the party that wants to do the same to kids' crotches. So Tim Sheehy won the election fairly comfortably. He's now in the Senate. And this summer, like most Republican members, he voted to pass the big, beautiful bill on Trump's tax and spending priorities. That was July 1st. And that same day, for his efforts, Sheehy caught the attention of a local aspiring politician herself in the state capitol, Helena. Haley McKnight is a local business manager running for city commission in Helena, a campaign she launched in April. And that is a big part of what makes this voicemail so hilarious. This isn't some newly unearthed years-old recording from her foolish younger days. She left this message in July, in the middle of the afternoon. It's not like it was some late-night drunk dial or something. She did this while she was actively campaigning for office to run our state capital city, actually. So it's not just that she's so deranged as to leave a voicemail wishing death upon a stranger like this. It's that she's deranged enough to do it thinking it won't hurt her current political campaign. She might even think it helps her, but without burying the lead any more than Haley McKnight buries her political opposition, here she is wishing death upon Tim Sheehy.
Hi, this is Haley McKnight. I'm a constituent in Helena, Montana. Fuck you. I hope you die.
Ironically, she used very Trumpy language in this death wish. Don't just die. Die like a dog.
I hope that you die in the street like a dog.
He died like a dog. He died like a dog.
MSNBC is dying and CNN is dying like a dog.
And I don't know what the leading cause of dog death is, but Haley hopes that this very bad boy gets pancreatic cancer.
I hope that one day you get pancreatic cancer and it spreads throughout your body so fast that they can't even treat you for it.
And actually, hey, before your pancreas gives out, suffer infertility too.
I hope that you are infertile.
Now, it is a little late on the infertility wish as the man already has 4 kids, but we sure hope you enjoyed yourself, Senator Sheehy, because God willing, that will be your last erection.
I hope you never manage to get a boner ever again.
Now, in fairness, Haley does look like an accomplished boner killer, a real boner assassin. A boner abortionist, even. I bet she kills him way before they ever even start in the first place. But despite that look and its erection exterminating effects, she's telling Sheehy that he's the ugliest piece of shit that she's ever seen. No mirrors in her bathroom, I guess, but that would explain a lot.
You are the worst piece of shit I've ever had the misfortune of looking at.
But don't underestimate her just by her looks, because Haley McKnight will kick Tim Sheehy's ass in the streets.
God forbid that you ever meet me on the streets, because I will make you regret it.
Now, forgive me, but I'm not so sure, because Tim Sheehy is a former Navy SEAL who has toured many streets much more dangerous than those in Helena, Montana. And Sheehy's not even 40 yet. He might be younger than her, actually. But hey, if she's inviting this street fight, I think we'd all love to see it. Oh, but that's not the point. That's just sensationalist distraction, because this is supposedly a substantive policy debate. It's not flabby chest pounding. This is the policy expertise of a woman who's campaigning saying this is native land, which makes me wonder why her campaign platform is about trying to run native land at all. Why not just rightfully give it back? But Miss Tribal Property Assessor over here is mad that Tim Sheehy supposedly voted to take health care away from 17 million people. That's the point of her call.
You are the most insufferable kind of coward and thief. You just stripped away health care for 17 million Americans, and I hope you're really proud of that.
Huh. Who are these people? Where are these people? Are they stacked in the same mass graves as the food stamp starvation victims we hear so much about, but nobody can actually show. The big, beautiful bill, for the faults it does have, and I was critical of many of them, did not take health care away from anybody. That 17 million figure was a made-up activist scare number saying it could happen maybe over the next decade because, oh no, for Medicaid eligibility, you might have to work. And if you can't get a paid job, well, you'll have to volunteer part-time. Oh, and we'll have to check to make sure that you're actually legally present in this country too. If requirements for work and legal presence in this country means 17 million people lose their publicly paid health insurance, then 17 million people probably should lose their publicly paid health insurance. But those 17 million people are fiction anyhow. They don't exist. They are a made-up rage bait story, and this lady is chomping at the hook. I wish as a follow-up someone would ask her, hey, have you ever met one of these 17 million people who lost their health coverage under this bill? Proportionally, there should be about 55,000 of them in Montana alone, 5% of our population. 1 in 20 people here. You ever run into one? You ever talk to one? No? Well, that's really strange, considering if the situation actually was that dire, you'd expect to see them, dying of pancreatic cancer in the streets like a dog. But now that her voicemail is public, Haley McKnight is offering comment in response, but no apology. In fact, this is all just a political smear.
She said she wishes that she had not used some of the language she did use, but she stood by her statement that Sheehy was harming Montanans. McKnight questioned the timing of the article, saying it appeared politically motivated.
And sure, she left the voicemail in July. It's now released on election eve. I'm sure that deployment probably is politically motivated. But you know what's also politically motivated?
Fuck you. I hope you die.
Oh, but that's way different because her rage was justified rage, she says.
McKnight told MTN she meant no harm to Sheehy and that she was speaking out of justifiable rage over the impacts of his policies.
Well, one, since your entire premise on the 17 million was bunk, your rage wasn't justified, actually. It was fraudulent, or at least mistaken. But two, even if the anger was understandable, the anger is not the issue. It's the threats and the death wish. The problem is not that you said, oh, Senator, I disagree with your vote. Very strongly, in fact. Shame on you. The problem is that you said, I'll kick your ass over it. Because even a murderer can have justified rage. A guy stole something from you. A spouse cheated on you. Somebody did something very bad to you. Anger against that person can be fully justified, but committing a crime in response is not. In other words, being very, very angry is not a moral or legal license to do whatever you want. It's not a very convincing campaign message either. Hey, vote for me. I'm an emotionally unstable, easily enraged woman who thinks I'm automatically justified by my own feelings. Yeah, no thanks. The National Review broke this story on Monday, and they reached out to Haley McKnight as part of their coverage. In her conversation with that publication, McKnight offers more commentary. McKnight says, yeah, I said I'd fight Tim Sheehy, and I'll say it again. I'll kick his ass. I'll fight him on sight. I'm not afraid of him or his fascist friends. But then she thought about it for a minute and conceded, okay, I'm actually kind of afraid of him and his fascist friends. Because after all, I'm just a woman. I'm not even capable of hurting Tim Sheehy, even if I tried. So really, it's not even a threat at all. It's just a goofy bluff. Yeah, very interesting that the male-female distinction matters again. She says she's a woman, but her preferred pronouns listed on her bio elsewhere say otherwise. Seems very convenient. And not just any woman, but one who's far too physically pathetic even to act on her emotional volatility anyway. But vote for me, because that's effective leadership. Asked whether her voicemail went too far, McKnight says absolutely not. She says, I do hope that Tim Sheehy dies of canine-style street-onset pancreatic cancer, because she's had friends who died of that terrible disease because they couldn't get the help they needed and the health care they desperately required. In fact, they had to spend their retirement savings on cancer treatment and died before they could enjoy the rest of their lives. Yeah, well, that's the thing about pancreatic cancer. It moves very quickly and aggressively. When you get that diagnosis, you generally don't have a rest of your life to live. To that point, her story contradicts itself. She says her friends did get health care, actually, and they paid for it, but the health care could not save them. Do you have any evidence that Tim Sheehy took their health insurance and that's why they died? No. Do you have any evidence that any health insurance company or government payer policy had anything to do with these deaths at all? No. Are these people even real? Almost certainly not, because if you actually did watch your friends or family die of this terrible disease, you would not wish it on other people over political differences, unless you actually are the very sort of horrible person that you call others. Well, okay, so it doesn't logically or morally make any sense, but really, why is this even a news story at all? Oh, what, little old me, please? I don't even count. I'm irrelevant. That's McKnight's next ridiculous defense. Come on, I'm just running for city commission in a town of 30,000 people. This isn't news. Who cares? She asked the National Review. But I do count when I'm the victim. So if you want real news, well, consider my victimhood, she says. You should all be covering the white supremacists who constantly threaten me in Facebook comments because I'm a liberal Jew, McKnight is quoted in the article. Wow, well, hey, that does sound like a story, and I'm very interested in the scoop. So can we please see these threats? Oh, well, unfortunately, they're all stashed under the 17 million big, beautiful bill bodies that don't exist, right next to the other made-up pile of all my friends who died of uninsured pancreatic cancer. It's just way too deep to dig out, you know? Pay no attention to my explicit calls for hurting other people, even though I don't apologize for them and stand by them, actually. But if we really care about hurting other people, focus on everything and everybody else. Because Tim Sheehy hurts way more people than she does every day, she says. How? Unexplained. People who disagree with her online threaten to hurt her all the time, she says. How? Unexplained. Now, in fairness, the total rejection of any accountability or responsibility ever is an excellent qualification for politics, but with every accountability-free defense that McKnight offers, she gets more desperate. Her final comment with the National Review is a legal one. Well, I can hope for the deaths of anybody, actually, because that's my legal right. And it is still a free country. Well, yeah, I guess it is for now, until people like you run it and actually install the very sort of government execution squads that you constantly warn about. It is not, God forbid, you ever meet Tim Sheehy on the streets.
God forbid that you ever meet me on the streets.
That's God willing, actually. It is God forbid that you ever have any public power whatsoever. It is very ironic that this entire story is about the supposed desperate need for healthcare, projection, I guess, because that's exactly what this woman needs. Mental institutionalization. And that's all Tim Sheehy's office had to say in response to this story. We wish Haley McKnight well, and we hope she gets the help that she so clearly needs. As I record this video Tuesday, we will find out tonight if Helena, Montana voters are smart enough to help themselves by not voting for this clinical insanity. McKnight is one of 4 candidates running for 2 city commission spots, though it may not really matter anyway. The race is officially nonpartisan, but it looks like everyone running is one form or another of a Democrat. And that's what happens in a city that exists for government. It has to justify itself. But whether the election works out for her or not, I assume McKnight will continue running her Indian trading post business. No, she's not Indian, and as far as I can see, she doesn't claim to be, but the guy who owns it is, and she manages the store. As part of her campaign profile, McKnight says everyone should stop into the shop for conversations of varying perspective that she just loves to have.
I really just want to meet everybody that cares. I'm downtown at Sage and Oats at 424 North Last Chance Gulch, and we're open from 10 to 5 every day. And I just want to meet people. Yeah, I love talking to people. I love this community, and
I'm really tempted to drive the hour and a half or so to see how welcome I am for a great conversation at the trading post. You know, just drop in for a rendezvous and say how, or if I get the traditional street fight challenge instead. And how does it work? If you show up believing in small government philosophy, is it just straight to fisticuffs on the spot, or can you do Old West style pistols at high noon instead? Because according to her campaign Instagram account, Haley McKnight is a big firearms enthusiast, but somehow still endorsed by one of the country's foremost gun-grabbing organizations, Moms Demand Action. Or, in this case, Desperate Single Childless Lady Demands Action, but she stopped all the boners. But sure, Haley, you keep demanding all you want. And the rest of the state is just going to keep buying guns and laughing at you. And yes, we know that the mockery comes at the grave risk of your savage street beatdowns, Haley, but that is a risk that we're prepared to accept. Because after all, we're the armed ones, and in your own wise words, we have to be brave enough to stand strong against fascism. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below, and especially over on X, that is at ML Christiansen. You're always welcome to coming out and chat in my live streams as live on Wednesday and Sunday nights. Looking forward to it. Goodbye.